The moment I walked into that tiny Portland cafe, I realized my daughter wasn't just being mistreated, she was being erased. Her mother-in-law had stolen her business, her money, and now she was one signature away from stealing her entire future. And if I didn't act fast, my daughter was about to lose everything I sacrificed my whole life to give her. Before we go any further, make sure to subscribe to the channel and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. I didn't plan on walking into a war that morning. I thought I was stopping by to surprise Deline with breakfast, maybe take a few pictures of her new cafe and embarrass her the way dads do. But the second that bell above the door gave its tired jingle, I felt something was wrong, not off, wrong. The air smelled burnt, heavy, sharp, like old bitter coffee left boiling too long, and under it, something sour. Disrespect, maybe. But I didn't have to guess. I saw it. My daughter, the same girl who once built Lego towers with sticky fingers and glittered dresses, was kneeling on the bathroom floor, scrubbing the tile grout with a toothbrush like she was paying for her existence cell by cell. Her shoulders hunched, her eyes red, her hands trembling. She wasn't cleaning. She was being punished. "Deline, you missed a spot." Her mother-in-law's voice cut through the room, sharp, rehearsed, dripping that poisonous sweetness older bullies wear like perfume. Aura Foster, silver hair, designer glasses on a thin chain, a smile that didn't reach her eyes, and a presence so smug she could have been sitting on a velvet throne instead of a cafe register stool. My daughter flinched at her voice, like it physically hurt. Aura continued, waving one manicured hand. "Use smaller circles. Customers notice streaks." She didn't even look at me, but my daughter did. Her head snapped up, eyes widening with something between relief and panic. "Dad," she whispered, voice fragile, like she wasn't sure speaking to me was allowed. I forced my jaw to unclench. "Morning, honey." Aura finally turned, her smile flicking on like stage lights. "Well, look who's here. What a surprise, Lemuel." Surprise? No. The surprise was how calm my daughter looked, pretending she wasn't breaking inside. I walked toward her, ignoring Aura completely. But Aura leaned forward on the counter with that entitled confidence people get when they've never been punched by reality. "Our cafe has been so busy lately," she purred. "Deline and I are partners now. I run the operations. She handles the simple tasks." Simple tasks? My daughter's dream cafe reduced to toilet scrubbing while Aura played queen? I felt something inside me twist. Hard. Travis, my son-in-law, sat at a far table with his laptop, pretending he didn't see any of this. Pretending silence made him innocent. Coward. "Deline," I said gently, "stand up." Her hand shook as she set the toothbrush down. I'm almost done." "No," I said quietly. "You are." Aura clicked her tongue. "Lemuel, please. She needs to learn proper cleaning standards. The health inspector was very clear last month." I froze. "What health inspector?" "Oh." Aura waved like she was swatting away a mosquito. "Just a routine visit. Deline made a few oversights. Nothing serious. I fixed everything." Fixed. Her favorite lie. My daughter avoided my gaze. Another red flag. Then I noticed something else. The cafe, the layout, the operations, things invisible to normal eyes, but not to someone who spent 35 years as a health inspector. The milk container sat out too long. The fridge door gaped open. A rag was draped over cutting equipment. Cleaning chemicals dangerously close to food supplies. Violations everywhere. Violations that could only exist when someone ran a place with arrogance, not ignorance. Aura smiled wider. "Why don't you let her finish her duties?" She tends to struggle without supervision. I looked at my daughter's hands, red, raw, scrubbing wounds. Struggle? No, she wasn't struggling. She was trapped. I'll take a coffee, I said, sitting at a table but never taking my eyes off Aura. Black. Of course. Her tone brightened. Too bright. Too eager to perform. On purpose. She gave me a weak, watery brew, the kind people sell when they don't care about taste, just profit. And when my hand shook a little, fatigued from a lifetime of writing inspection reports, she noticed. I saw the flicker in her eyes. She enjoyed it. A predator measuring the weakness of prey. I put the cup down harder than needed. Delphine, I said, bring me the partnership agreement. Aura's smile vanished. My daughter froze. Dad, bring it, I repeated softly. Aura stepped between us. There's no need for that. Travis handles all the paperwork. Travis stared at his laptop, typing nonsense. Anything to avoid eye contact. Let him bring it too, I said. Deline hesitated. Fear, confusion, exhaustion all tangled together. But she nodded and rushed to the back office. Aura crossed her arms, leaning in close enough I could smell the stale perfume layered over insecurity. You're not welcome to interfere, she whispered. This place is running better than it ever did under your daughter's foolish ideas. I didn't move, didn't blink. Say that again, I said quietly. Aura smirked. Foolish. She doesn't understand numbers, doesn't understand ownership, doesn't understand what real business requires. Ownership, I echoed, a dangerous word. One people use when they've taken something that isn't theirs. Deline returned with a folder, trembling hands, tear-blurred eyes, breath quivering. When I saw the signatures, when I saw the percentages, when I saw how deeply Aura and Travis had buried her, my blood went cold. Aura whispered near my ear, soft enough only I would hear. She signed everything, Lemuel, and once the final transfer goes through, she'll own nothing, not even her name on the door. My daughter stared at me, broken. Dad, I didn't know. I trusted them. I closed the folder slowly. Then I stood, calm, quiet, deadly. Deline, go home, I said. Pack your things. I'll meet you there. Aura laughed sharply. And what will you do? File a complaint? Cry fraud? Go ahead. You can't prove a thing. I walked to the door, hand on the glass, and said without turning, I don't need to cry fraud. Pause. I only need the truth, and the truth leaves fingerprints in every corner of this cafe. The bell jingled as I stepped outside. For the first time in years, the inspector in me woke up, and I wasn't here to shut down a restaurant. I was here to take back my daughter's life, and Aura Foster had no idea what was coming, but I did. The moment I stepped out into the cold Portland air, something inside me clicked into place, something I hadn't felt in years. That old instinct. That quiet, methodical, relentless inspector who never missed a detail and never lost a case. And now? He had a personal reason. I didn't drive home immediately. I needed distance, perspective. So I walked 3 blocks to a cafe that actually cared about its coffee, sat at the corner table, and laid the partnership papers in front of me. 51 pages of legal traps, hidden clauses, predatory terms, all designed to walk my daughter into financial slaughter like a lamb with no idea the knife was coming. Aura had planned this. Every signature line, every clause, every percentage. My daughter trusted her husband, trusted her family, and they repaid her by stealing the dream I nearly bankrupted my retirement to give her. I exhaled slowly. The kind of slow, simmering exhale that comes before a storm. My burner phone buzzed. Dad? Are you coming home? I don't want to talk here. Deline. I typed back. On my way. By the time I reached my apartment, she was already sitting on my couch, hugging her knees like she used to when she broke something as a kid. Except this time, she wasn't scared of being punished. She was scared she'd already lost everything. I'm sorry, she whispered before I could even take my coat off. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to disappoint you. I thought if I just worked harder, Aura would be proud of me. She said I needed discipline, guidance. She said the papers were normal, just temporary until I learned more. Her voice cracked. She said I owed her, Dad, because you weren't enough to make the business succeed. That did it. My heartbeat went cold. She said what? Deline wiped her eyes. She said you were naive, that you only invested because you felt guilty you never helped me sooner. She told me you'd just get in the way. I sat down beside her. Honey, everything she said was a lie. I know, she whispered. Now I know. I just didn't want you to think I failed. My chest tightened. You didn't fail. You were manipulated by people who pretended to love you. She nodded, swallowed, and reached into her bag. Dad, there's something else. She handed me her phone, a text thread with Travis, every line worse than the last. Aura, make sure she signs tomorrow. She'll believe it. Don't worry, you're not betraying her. You're saving the business from her. Travis, okay, she trusts me. I'll convince her it's standard. She won't know the difference. She never does. My teeth clenched so hard my jaw clicked. He used me, Deline whispered. He used our marriage to trick me. I put a hand on her shoulder. Not anymore. She leaned into me like she did when she was 7 and scraped her knee. Except this wound was deeper, cut by people she thought were family. When she finally fell asleep in my guest room, I walked to my bookshelf and pulled down a leather case I hadn't touched since retiring. Inside, my old inspector ID, the gold seal, the badge, the authority that had shut down more than 40 restaurants in my career. No, I wasn't going to impersonate an inspector, but I knew exactly how inspectors worked, exactly what triggered emergency inspections, exactly what got immediate attention. And what Aura didn't know was that truth doesn't hide. It leaks through violations, through paperwork, through systems built for accountability. I spent the entire night writing violation patterns, timeline inconsistencies, financial manipulation indicators, unsafe operational habits, red flags inspectors are trained to escalate, every line crafted with laser precision. At 3:14 a.m., Deline woke and found me still typing. Dad, what are you doing? Fixing this, I said simply. Legally? A small smile tugged at my mouth. Perfectly legally. She nodded, trusting me completely. When she left for the cafe in the morning, her face still showed exhaustion, but her back was straighter. Her eyes were clearer. She was ready. And so was I. I opened the Oregon Health Authority complaint portal, attached the photographic evidence I'd gathered inside the cafe, and began the report. Every word true, every violation real, every consequence inevitable. I hit submit, and then another part of the plan clicked into place. Deline's apron, the one Aura made her wear. I'd seen these things. My whole career, I'd seen women like Aura, loud, controlling, careless with rules when they believed no one was watching. But they talked too much, confessed too easily, especially when they believed themselves untouchable. Which is why, when Deline came home that night after her shift, exhausted again but calmer, I clipped a tiny voice-activated recorder inside the seam of her apron pocket. She froze. "Dad, is that legal?" "Oregon is a one-party consent state," I said. "If you're part of the conversation, you can record it." "What if she finds it?" "She won't," I said. "And even if she did, she'd assume it's an order tracker." Deline swallowed hard. "What do I say?" "You don't say anything," I answered. "You let her speak. Aura likes hearing herself talk. Let her brag. Let her slip. Let her admit what she's done." Deline hesitated. "And if she gets angry again?" That quiet fire returned in her eyes. "Then let her," she whispered. "I'm not afraid of her anymore." That was the moment I knew. Aura had already lost her power. She just didn't know it yet. 2 days later, at 9:59 a.m., I sat across the street from Morning Brew, sipping a properly made cappuccino from a different cafe, pretending to read the newspaper while watching for a white Oregon Health Authority sedan. At exactly 10 a.m., it appeared. 2 inspectors stepped out, Martinez and Chen. I recognized both, experienced, uncompromising, the kind who never removed violations out of pity. Perfect. Through the window, I saw Aura's expression morph from confusion to horror to panic. Chen walked straight to the kitchen. Martinez started temperature checks. Pantsuit-perfect Aura tried to guide them, talk over them, distract them. They ignored her completely. 41 minutes later, I watched through the glass as Martinez handed Aura the written violations. Her face drained white, then red, then something feral. She spun on Deline, screaming. Even through the closed window, I could see her spit words like venom. Good. Let her scream. Let her lose control. Let the recorder catch everything. The inspectors left. Aura's mask had cracked. Stage 1 had worked. But the real war hadn't even begun. Because that night, I got a call, unknown number. I answered. "Lemuel," Aura said, "not Lem, not friendly, not even fake sweet. Ice." "We need to talk." I calmly poured a whiskey. "About what?" "Don't insult me," she snapped. "The complaint, the timing, the review, the inspection. This is you. I know it's you." I said nothing. "And unless you meet me tonight," she continued, "I'll file harassment charges by morning, along with your past record." My heart froze in my chest. She knew, but fear didn't stop me. "You want to meet?" I said. "Fine, my apartment, 1 hour." "Bring coffee," she replied coldly. "This will take a while." She hung up. I stared at the wall. Not in fear, in calculation. Aura had escalated. That meant I'd hit her where it hurt, which meant I was winning. I stood at the window, watching the city lights flicker on the wet pavement. Deline emerged from her room, worried. "Dad." "What now?" I turned to her. "Now, sweetheart?" I said softly. Now we finish what she started. For a moment, the room felt too still, like the air held its breath along with us. My daughter sat on the edge of the couch, hands clenched, eyes searching mine for answers I hadn't given her yet. But the truth was simple. Aura had declared war, and I was done playing defense. I grabbed my coat, slid the old inspector's notebook into my pocket, and nodded toward Deline. "Stay here, lock the door. If Travis calls, don't pick up. Tonight isn't for him." She stood. "Dad, what will you say to her?" "Nothing," I said, opening the door. "She's going to do all the talking." The hallway felt colder than usual as I stepped into it, like even the building sensed the storm brewing. I took the stairs instead of the elevator. Slow, controlled steps. The same way I used to walk into a failing restaurant just before shutting it down. Outside, the city had gone quiet. Streetlights reflected off slick pavement, and a low mist rolled in from the river, swallowing edges, making everything feel narrowing, closing in. Perfect atmosphere for a confession. Aura arrived 15 minutes early. Of course she did. Her Mercedes screeched slightly as she parked, and she stepped out wearing a trench coat, far too elegant for someone whose life was actively burning down. She carried a to-go cup of coffee in one hand, some expensive roast she probably didn't even know how to pronounce. Her heels clicked with impatient fury as she approached. "You took your time," she snapped. "No," I corrected. "You came early." Her eyes twitched. She hated being corrected. I opened the building door. She walked past me without waiting for an invitation. She moved like she owned every room she walked into, like she was born above consequence. But tonight, she was walking into a room she couldn't control. Inside my apartment, she scanned the space with a sneer. "Still living like a bachelor, I see," she said. "No wonder your daughter grew up thinking she needed attention from the wrong people." I shut the door behind her. "You said you wanted to talk." "Oh, we're doing more than talking," she said, tossing her coat on my armchair. "We're negotiating." She sat at the table and crossed her legs, leaning forward. "You're going to retract whatever you filed. All of it. The inspection, the report, the complaint, everything. And you're going to convince Deline to sign the final transfer this week. In exchange, I'll make sure your name doesn't come up in any fraud investigation." I stared at her, and then I smiled. "Aura, you really don't understand what's happening." Her lips curled. "Enlighten me." "You're not here to negotiate," I said calmly, sitting across from her. "You're here to confess." She laughed, loud, sharp, ugly. "Confess? To what? Running a successful business? Saving your daughter from bankruptcy? Teaching her discipline?" "To fraud," I said softly. "To coercion. To exploiting your own daughter-in-law. To forging financial documents. To creating an unsafe workplace. To abusing power. To falsifying revenue reports. To endangering customers with violations you tried to hide." Her laughter died. Her eyes narrowed. "You have no proof." I leaned back. "But you do." She frowned. "What?" "You came here tonight," I said slowly, "because you're scared. And scared people talk. They explain. They justify. They reveal." I saw it, the flicker of panic under her eyelids. She shifted. "You think you know everything, Lemuel, but you don't. You didn't see the books before I stepped in. That cafe was drowning because of Deline's incompetence. She didn't understand money. She didn't understand customers. She barely understood her own husband. Someone had to save the business before her stupidity destroyed Travis's future." I exhaled. There it was. The truth, wrapped in her venom. "Keep going," I said quietly. She scoffed. "Don't play this game with me." "You started it." Aura stood, pacing. "You act like she's some angelic victim. She's weak, she's emotional. She needs someone to guide her." "To control her," I corrected. "To protect what's mine," she snapped. "What's yours?" My voice hardened. "You mean the business Deline built? The investment she made? The years she spent creating that place from scratch?" Aura turned sharply. She never would have gotten a loan without Travis. She never would have kept the doors open without me. And she never would have learned how business works unless someone forced her to open her eyes. She should thank me for taking control. If she had any sense, she'd be grateful. I let the silence stretch. Aura felt it. She tried to regain her arrogance, straightening her coat. "And now you're going to undo what you caused. You're going to fix the mess you created, unless you want Deline's marriage to fall apart publicly." That marriage has been dead for months, I said. Aura's jaw tightened. That so-called marriage, I continued, was just another tool for you. Another way to manipulate her. Another contract disguised as love. She froze. And then, finally, her mask shattered. You want the truth, Lemuel? She whispered angrily. Fine. I needed her signature. Travis was supposed to help me. She was supposed to sign. She always signs. I was building something bigger than that stupid cafe. A chain. Franchise potential. Investors. Real money. And she was in my way. She was soft. Weak. Emotional. So yes, I pushed her. I cornered her. I made her dependent. And it worked. I didn't move. I didn't blink. I didn't breathe. I didn't have to. Because everything she said, every word she thought was power, was being recorded. Aura finally noticed the small blinking light near the bookshelf camera. She froze. Her face drained. What is that? She whispered. My security system, I said calmly. Audio and video. She shot to her feet. You recorded me? That's illegal. You can't. Oregon is a one-party consent state, I interrupted. All I have to do is be one of the participants. And I am. She went silent and terrified. Sit down, Aura. She didn't. So I said it again, calm, heavy, unavoidably final. Sit down. She sank slowly into the chair. Her confidence was gone. Her arrogance cracked. Her power evaporated. What do you want? She whispered. Nothing, I said. You already gave me everything. I grabbed my laptop, connected the camera feed, and uploaded the recording directly to the inspector's case file. Then I stood. You stole my daughter's business. Upload. You stole her money. Upload. You tried to steal her future. Upload. And now? You've handed me the evidence that destroys yours. Aura's breathing became sharp, fast, panicked. You're ruining me. You don't understand. My name in this town, my reputation, my investors. They'll all know exactly who you are by morning. She grabbed my arm desperately. Please, Lemuel, listen, I can fix everything. We can reverse the paperwork. I'll give her the cafe back. I'll sign whatever you want. Just don't send that. It's already sent, I said. Aura's hand dropped. She knew it was over. Travis? He lost his job 2 days later when the recording went viral through the inspection board. His messages to Aura surfaced. His betrayal became public. He moved out of state. Alone. Aura? She didn't just lose the cafe. She lost her investors, her board memberships, her social circle, her reputation, her power, everything she worshipped. Deline? She got her cafe back, completely, 100%. Her name restored, her life restored. She stood with me outside the newly reopened doors 2 months later, holding fresh keys, eyes filled with tears. But this time, tears of release. Dad, she whispered, I don't know how to thank you. I put my arm around her. You rebuild, you grow, you live. That's enough. Sometimes the people who claim they're saving you are really the ones holding the knife. Sometimes the loudest helpers are the ones building cages around you while calling it love. And sometimes the only way to win is not to shout, not to fight, but to quietly gather the truth and let it burn the lies to the ground. Power built on manipulation never lasts, but truth never dies. If you enjoyed this story, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. To listen to the next story, just click the box on the left. Thank you for watching.